The Atlanta Falcons started off 5-0 last season, but then finished 8-8. What's going to happen this season? You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. 32 teams, 32 days, and today we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons and their upcoming 2016 NFL season. And as I said in the intro, last season they started off 5-0, finished 8-8. What the hell is going to happen this season, man? Your guess is as best as mine. But hey, we're about to talk about their team, look at their strengths, look at their weaknesses, look at their schedule, and then get the hell out of here. Let's start with their strengths. And I only have one. That's their offensive line. Left tackle Jake Matthews. Guy was drafted in 2014 in the 2014 NFL Draft behind Greg Robinson. Way better player than Greg Robinson at this point. The guy's been turning into one of the better left tackles in the league after what was a bit of a disappointing rookie season. Definitely got his feet wet. His feet are drenched. At this point, the guy's turning into a good left tackle in the NFL. Right tackle position, Ryan Schrader. The guy really not getting paid like one of the top right tackles in the league, but trust me, he's been one of the better right tackles in the league, continues to be that, continues to get paid pennies, but that's just okay with you because that allows you to allocate money elsewhere. Guards, Andy Levitre, who you received from the Tennessee Titans in a trade before last season. He was good for you guys last season, but then now in training camp, apparently he hasn't been quite as good. Wes Schweister has been challenging for that spot, so we'll keep an eye out on that one. Right guard, Chris Chester starting currently. Behind him, Tom Compton. Both of them former Washington Redskins. But hey, both of them okay. Well, Tom Compton's okay, and then Chris Chester's pretty freaking good. So you're fine at the guard position, or at least right guard right now. And then center, Alex Mack, who you signed from the Cleveland Browns. Guy's been one of the better centers in the league. He should continue to do that with the Atlanta Falcons here. Thank God we will no longer see Peter Kahns at this position. Am I right or am I right? Now, those are my only strengths for this football team, but that doesn't mean that you're too bad. I think there are definitely positions that could be strengths. Let's start with the defensive line, shall we? Now, right now, my problem with the defensive line is that we have a bunch of guys, okay? And none of them are very good. None of them are elite. They're just a bunch of guys. So let's start with the defensive ends. So, well, right now, Vic Beasley is apparently moving to strong side linebacker, the Sam linebacker position. I completely disagree with that. So we're going to operate under the assumption that he is not on the defensive line. So we're talking about Derek Shelby on one side. You know, the guy was actually pretty good last year, especially against the run, but not a great pass rusher. Will never give you more than 6 sacks in any given season. Maybe 7 is his max. I mean, he's just not going to be an elite pass rusher in the NFL, or even very good one. The other defensive end position, we're talking about Brooks Reed moving to the defensive end position. I don't love that at all. At the defensive tackle position, right now you have a bunch of guys, but I think the most encouraging guy is Grady Jarrett, the guy you drafted later on last year in the 2015 NFL Draft. Guy was actually pretty good last year. He should take yet another leap, be even better this upcoming season. So I think he's actually going to solidify himself as a really good starter in this league. But behind him, you're talking about the same old guys, Jonathan Babineau, who, you know, is an inside and an outside guy, but Jonathan Babineau, Tyson Jackson, Rashid Hageman. Like, we already know about these guys. We get it. We know what we're going to get. We're not going to get anything great. Malachi Goodman. Like, we know these guys, right? They don't strike the fear out of anybody. The only thing different here is that Paul Soliai isn't here. Okay, but they're just guys, right? They're not bad. They're not great. They're just guys. You know, there's just a bunch of guys on this defensive line. I just can't put guys, you know, that are okay, maybe even good, but I can't put just a bunch of guys and say that they're a strength for your football team. I can't do it. We're also talking about the corners. They could be a strength, okay? Desmond Trufant, okay? He continues to be a number 1 cornerback in this league. No problem there for me. Robert Alford. Okay, pretty good number 2 cornerback right there. No problem for me. Especially also these two, consider this. Atlanta doesn't have any pass rush. Now, well, they haven't had any pass rush for, I think, for the past 3 years probably. And these guys continue to be pretty good in coverage. That's pretty amazing. Imagine what they could do if Atlanta actually had a freaking pass rush. So that's good. But then behind them, there's not much. Okay, Akeem King, not very good. Jalen Collins was disappointing his rookie season and now suspended for the first 4 games of this upcoming season. Don't love that at all. I heard you guys were calling a couple free agent corners, asking them if they'd like to come in. So the cornerback depth is not there for me to say, okay, that the cornerbacks are a strength for this football team. I just couldn't quite do it. The safeties, okay, you drafted Keanu Neal from Florida. I know a lot of you guys are convinced that he's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year, that he's going to be a big-time playmaker, he's going to do this and that. I think he's going to be pretty good, but temper your expectations just a little bit, especially early on. And then you guys also have Ricardo Allen at the free safety position. The guy's actually been a pretty good free safety in this league. You guys also have Ishmael, or I think his name is Kamel Ashmael. Some pretty good safety depth there. So the safeties could end up being a strength for this football team, but I couldn't quite put it there yet. Let's see how good Keanu Neal is before we crown how good he is. So with that said, for me, the quarterback position also could be a strength, but I couldn't quite put it there. Matt Ryan, the guy really disappointed me last season. What was it, like 21 touchdowns to 15 interceptions? And I expect more from Matt Ryan. I like to come on here and make the argument years past that he's a top 10 quarterback. Not last year. The guy was below average last year. I don't know why. And probably this offense, I don't know if this is a good offense for him. And a lot of you want to argue that, well, it's okay because this is another year in the offense. He's going to get comfortable. It's going to be good. Trust me, he's going to be good. And then you like to walk away. But I say, hold on. Because when he was uncomfortable, when he was at the peak of his uncomfort, the guy was 5-0. Right? He was new to the offense and he was 5-0. As the season went on and as he got more comfortable with the offense, as he learned more of the offense, as the offense got more ingratiated, they got worse and he got worse. So that doesn't bode well for your future success to me at all. So Matt Ryan, I don't know what to expect from Matt Ryan this season. Is this his peak? Has he capped? I mean, a lot of teams, a lot of, players, a lot of analysts and experts, they're making their mock drafts and they're thinking about who's going to take a quarterback. I'm starting to raise an eyebrow because if Matt Ryan really plays the way he did last season, I think the Falcons might have to raise an eyebrow as well. If a guy like Brad Kaya or someone is sitting in the middle of the first round, maybe they raise an eyebrow or two and they call Denver and they say, hey, Denver, how you doing? Let's make a deal, so just look out for that. And I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying let's see how he plays this season because he didn't play well last season at all for me. Now let's get into the weaknesses. I think that there are a couple. Okay, now the first one you're not going to agree with, and that's fine. And probably even the second one. I don't love the running backs. Okay, I don't love them. Devonta Freeman. A whopping, shocking, scary 4 yards per carry. The guy got the ball a lot, and he got over 1,000 yards, just barely, over 1,000 yards with that. He has some nice games, and we're saying, oh, Devonta Freeman, he's so good. I'm saying, dude, 4 yards per carry, who cares? No one cares. That is very, very below, that's below average in the NFL. I was about to say average. No, that's below average in the NFL. Average is about 4.2, 4.3. He got 4. Why is it going to be better? Why? There's no reason why. The offensive line got a little bit better. Alex Mack, but beyond that, there's nothing different here. So I don't love Devonta Freeman. And I think Tevin Coleman stinks. The guy has the worst hands in the NFL in terms of dropping and fumbling. The guy had, I think, 3 fumbles and like 89 rushes or something like that. Had a number of drops as well. The guy has horrible hands, man. He can't catch. He can't hold on to the football. He's a clown. His running back vision isn't very good anyway. He's been skating by on off his athleticism and his Indiana highlights. The guy isn't very good at the NFL level for me. I don't love the running backs. The wide receivers, wow. Now, I think Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'll give you that. But beyond him, nothing. Mohamed Sanu, who the Cincinnati Bengals have been coming up to in church, and they've been begging. Dear God, can you please wake Mohamed Sanu up and make him a number 2 wide receiver in this league? And you know what God was saying? Nope. Because Mohamed Sanu has not become the guy the Cincinnati Bengals were praying he would be. And now you're signing him to this big deal. You're giving him this money. And you're saying now that we've given you this more money, be somehow motivated to be the player that we know you can be. No, I don't buy it. I don't think it's going to be very good. I say 700 yards max. And that's a very high maximum right there. I mean, very low maximum. We're talking about Justin Hardy, the guy out of East Carolina. Guy only had 194 yards last season. You know, we keep talking about it. We don't know anything about this guy. You can pull up your East Carolina highlights and say, look at this. And pull up your combine footage and say, look at that. I haven't seen it. I don't care. I don't expect much from Justin Hardy. Behind them, diddly poo. I think the wide receiver depth here is awful from number 2 onward. And even though you have the best wide receiver in the league, when you have nothing else, that's a problem. If you give Julio Jones as many targets and put him in the situations he was in last year again, he will get injured. He will not see 16 games, and you will have big problems. I cannot put the wide receivers as a strength. I can't even put them not as a weakness. They are a weakness to me. When the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 wide receivers are this, I cannot do it. I think there's big problems with this wide receiving core. We talk about the linebackers. I don't love them. Now, Vic Beasley's moving to strong side linebacker. I think he's a defensive lineman. I think it's a 4-3 defensive lineman, or maybe a 3-4 outside linebacker. But a 4-3 strong side linebacker, I don't love that transition. And I think he'll be fine, but I think you're really limiting his potential. Middle linebacker, Paul Worrilow, and I'm very worried because this guy isn't very good at all. You guys keep starting these. I mean, how many times are you guys gonna, start these poor middle linebackers, these Curtis Loftons, these Paul Worrilows? Now you finally drafted Deion Jones, but I don't think he's a middle linebacker. I think he's a weak side linebacker. You're asking him to put on weight. I don't know how that weight's gonna look on him. We'll see. He'll develop, and then we'll find out. But I don't love that. I don't love the potential of that. And then your other linebacker, you signed in Sean Weatherspoon from the Arizona Cardinals. You know, the guy didn't play well at all last year. I know he's played well for you in the past. He used to be on your own team, and he used to be good. But I think his career is just about over. If Bruce Arians doesn't put you on the field, I think it's just because you're not very good. So I think the Falcons have some issues for sure. And this is the biggest issue to me. Let's transition to the schedule. I think the schedule is very tough. And I think it's extremely tough. I think it's one of the tougher schedules in the NFL. Coming off of last year's schedule, which was pretty freaking easy when you went up against the AFC South, and you guys really had a tremendous success against the AFC South. Now there's going to be issues. You guys go up against the AFC West. You guys go to Oakland in week 2. You guys go to Denver in week 5. You guys host the Kansas City Chiefs in week 13, and you guys host the San Diego Chargers in week 7. This could be 0-4, but I have you guys going 1-3 against the AFC West. The one win being versus San Diego. I don't see how you guys could go to Denver and win, go to Oakland and win. I just don't see that at all. And then hosting Kansas City, it will be close, but I don't see you guys pulling that one out. Don't love that at all. We look at, once again, being in the NFC South. I think it's actually 3-3. I have you guys splitting with each and every team in this division, but just look out because the Panthers could easily sweep you. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm actually seeing you guys defeat them and go 3-3 in your own division. I don't think you guys will have much of a problem with that. In terms of going, you guys also face the NFC West, okay, in terms of going to... you guys go to Seattle in week 6. I don't love that at all. I think that's a big old L. I don't think the L could be bigger. I think you guys also go to LA. You guys go to LA in week 14. You guys you guys could definitely win this one, but I don't know, man. Even though I think LA has a worse roster than you, has a worse team than you, even has worse coaching, I think this is one of those games that they win. This is later on in the season. Jared Goff will be comfortable, will be getting, better as the season gets on. I think they could actually really win this game right here. So I have you guys actually losing this one. And you guys host San Francisco in week 15 and host Arizona in week 12. I have you guys losing to Arizona. I mean, I don't see how you guys can beat Arizona, even in Atlanta. And then in terms of, again, hosting San Francisco, you guys can beat San Francisco. San Francisco is going to stink. So there's no problem there for me. 1-3 against the NFC West. And then you guys go up against the Green Bay Packers in week 9 and the Philadelphia Eagles in week 10 because they finished concurrently with you second in their respective divisions. And let me tell you this. I mean, honestly, these both should be L's, but I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt and say you guys win one of these, probably in Philly, maybe even you guys upset Green Bay, but this churns out a record of 6-10, and that is my prediction. I think it's a 6-10 season for the Atlanta Falcons. I just don't buy Matt Ryan figuring it out in this offense that as he got deeper and deeper into last season, he had more and more troubles. I don't buy that Julio Jones is going to be able to stay healthy for 16 games. I don't buy that, Mohamed Sanu is going to be the number 2 wide receiver. I don't buy that these, athletic but raw guys like Keanu Neal and Deion Jones are going to have so much success. I don't buy Vic Beasley transitioning to strong side linebacker. I don't buy Brooks Reed transitioning to defensive end. I don't buy enough of these moves for me to buy into the Falcons and their philosophy. But I'll tell you this, the best case scenario, I could be really wrong here. Okay, you may be able to come back to this video and tell me, boy, you were really wrong. We went 9-7. We were damn near close to making the playoffs. I can actually buy into that. But I think the worst case scenario is 5-11. If you guys lose, like maybe one more game that I didn't say. I think that is the worst case scenario. But, if, let's say, Julio Jones gets injured early or Matt Ryan gets injured early, he could definitely be worse than this. We could be talking about 3 wins here. I'm just not buying into the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm sure you disagree, so tell me why down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys like to say. And if you enjoy the video, make sure to like and most importantly to subscribe because almost every single damn day here I am 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, giving you guys yet another one of my 2016 NFL season previews. So they're playing my music and you know what that means. Until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment and I'm out. Peace.